Andrew Tucker, and welcome to Andrew Tucker World. What's going on, all my great people? What's going on, all my boxing fans? This is going to be a real quick video, a very short video. I have breaking news. I have great news. This only proves that Canelo is a pay-per-view star. This is coming from a reliable source, a credible source, a reliable source, and they are great guys. This is coming from Boxing Scene. Canelo Alvarez versus Canelo-Plant Showtime pay-per-view show on track to reach 800,000 pay-per-view buys. Allow me to repeat that. Canelo-Plant Showtime pay-per-view show on track to reach 800,000 buys, pay-per-view buys. Canelo Alvarez returned to boxing's traditional. Canelo Alvarez returns to boxing traditional pay-per-view platform Saturday night was a bigger success than anticipated. So I'm thinking, like, listen, this is coming from the Boxing Scene. Shout out to the Boxing Scene. I just came across this article of about 10 minutes ago. So this is, like I said, they're a credible source, a reliable source. And I'm also hearing this coming from another source. So, you know, this only proves that Canelo Alvarez is a pay-per-view star and a pay-per-view king. And even if it is at 800,000 and possibly could even be bigger, the pay-per-view buys could be even bigger. So we're talking about 900, maybe even a million right there at a million, or a little bit over a million, you know. So it says Canelo-Plant Showtime pay-per-view show on track to reach 800,000 buys. You know, this during the we're still in a pandemic. I know things are starting to slowly get back on track, you know, with everything, you know what I mean. But we're still in the pandemic, dealing with, you know, what we're dealing with as far as all around the world, as far as COVID, you know what I mean. So for the event to be sold out, you know what I mean, as far as in the gate to be doing, I'm hearing great numbers. But now on top of that, you got the pay-per-view buys, you know. Is projecting to do great do great numbers as well. So Canelo Alvarez returned to boxing's traditional pay-per-view platform Saturday night was a bigger success than anticipated. BOXINGSCENE.com has learned that the total buy rate for Showtime pay-per-view event, headlined by Alvarez 11th round knockout of Canelo-Plant, is on track to reach 800,000. That total includes only domestic buys in the United States through cable and satellite operators, as well as digital sales that have consistently accounted for an increasing number of buys in 2021. The total buy rate for pay-per-view events often takes many months to tabulate, and it's true. You know, it says numerous, and it also goes on to say numerous industry insiders indicated to BOXINGSCENE.com before Alvarez fought Plant on Saturday night at the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas that their fight would draw somewhere between 500,000 and 600,000 buys, in part because Showtime's 4-fight telecast directly competed with UFC 268 on pay-per-view. So yes, you had two pay-per-view pretty much colliding, you know, two pay-per-views, two big pay-per-views head to head, you know what I mean. And so they projected that the pay-per-view buys can do like between 500,000 to 600,000 pay-per-view buys, because it was competing, and of course they had an interference with UFC 268. You know what I'm saying? That pay-per-view, it was, of course, there was in a way of interference, and it could have hindered the pay-per-view the pay-per-view numbers, the pay-per-view buys, and the pay-per-view numbers. It could have hindered that, but let's read it again. It says numerous industry insiders indicated to BOXINGSCENE.com before Alvarez fought Plant on Saturday night at MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas that their fight would draw somewhere between 500,000 to 500,000 and 600,000 buys, in part because Showtime's 4-fight telecast directly competed with UFC 268 on pay-per-view. The 31, so that but we're hearing, this is, like I'm saying, coming from the sources, that 800,000, and it could be even higher. The pay-per-view numbers can be even higher. Just lets us know and tells us that Canelo Alvarez is a pay-per-view star. And during the pandemic, 800,000 or higher, 800,000 or even, or it could possibly be higher, is great pay-per-view numbers. Great pay-per-view buys, great number of people buying the fight. During a pandemic, I mean, that is still a great, a significant and a great number. During a pandemic. What I'm saying? So it's projected to do 500,000, 500K to 600K, but on track to 800,000, which is even better. You know what I mean? The 31-year-old Alvarez is boxing's biggest star in the U.S., but he hadn't competed exclusively on pay-per-view since his 12-round majority decision victory over rival Gennady Golovkin in their middleweight championship rematch in September 2018 at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. The second Alvarez Golovkin battle reportedly produced approximately 1.1 million buys. I remember that. It did great numbers, great pay-per-view buys. The pay-per-view buys was great. It was great numbers. What I'm saying? It did great numbers. What I'm saying? Which is 1.1 million pay-per-view buys. I remember that. That was a massive fight. That showed us and that told us and revealed to a lot of people that Canelo is a pay-per-view star. One of the best fighters in the world, number one pound-for-pound fighter in the world, taking on a very dangerous Gennady Golovkin. Those two together, as reported, their second bout produced approximately 1.1 million buys. Each of Alvarez's three bouts before he topped Plant, successive victories over Callum Smith, Yildirim, and Billy Joe Saunders were offered on pay-per-view through cable and satellite operators in the U.S., but were primarily streamed by DAZN, a much cheaper option than traditional pay-per-view. So like this is big. This is massive news. Congratulations once again. Congratulations to Canelo Alvarez. He's 168-pound undisputed champion, super middleweight undisputed champion. And congratulations to him. Much respect to Canelo-Plant. He came to fight. He just was in there against the best, more experienced, better skilled fighter. What I mean? So, but this just goes to show that Canelo is a pay-per-view star, not just number one pound-for-pound fighter in the world and one of the best fighters in the world, but he's also a pay-per-view star. People love to see him fight. People love to tune in. People support him. He has a big following, a massive following, loved around the world. He's a global icon, superstar, megastar. I'm sorry. So, but this is the news I have. This is breaking news, and this is good. It's a good look. It's always been a good look. Canelo is a superstar. He's a megastar, and so this is all the news I have. More videos, more live streams, more videos coming soon. Love you guys. Much love and respect. And I'm Andrew Tucker, and I'm out.